Today we are going to review non-fiction book by Thomas L. Friedman. The World is Flat, A Brief History of the 21st Century.
This is one of group assignment course, Global Economy and International Business, in IPNI International Business School, which facilitated by Prof. Roy Sambol and Dr. Yulita.
The book is wide-ranging examination of globalization at the turn of the 21st century and its impact on the United States.
The book is divided into sections that explain the origin, impact, and meaning of a flat world.
The author also analyzes what he called a flat world, a term used to describe our global economy today.
Hopefully, we can share something useful for you guys. Let's watch our video. Hey guys, did you know that Pak Luhut met with Elon Musk several times ago?
Oh, I know. I saw Pak Luhut gave Elon Musk a Kopiko candy.
Wah, cool. Kopiko has gone global. By the way, what makes Kopiko being global ya?
Maybe the easy of the technology that makes local being global.
Yes, that's right. Have you read the book by Thomas Friedman? The book tells us about globalization when the world become flat right now.
I have the books, guys.
I think it's interesting to make review of this book so that we can share to others. What do you think, guys?
I will call Pak Hanif to join ya.
Hi guys, sorry I cannot be there to join today's discussion, so I'll just join by video call then. See you.
Hello everyone, we are from Group Trade War, Executive MBA IPNI International Business School with me Meli, Hanif, Irwan, Fajrul, Nurfiani, and Bulena Aulana to review book The World is Flat by Thomas L. Friedman. The book in part 1 talking about how world become flat. First, Friedman explained what he means by term flat world. Does this book tell about the shape of Earth? Of course not. Friedman recount journey to Bangalore, India when he realized globalization has changed core economic concept. There are major events and convergence influenced by politics, innovation, and enterprise that impact to changes in world civilization and globalization, which make world is getting flatter, borderless, distance between countries get closer and closer. In his book, The World is Flat, Friedman provides 10 forces or 10 flatteners that played a role in this process how the world become flat. Even one, the fall of the Berlin Wall. The collapse of the wall that separated East and West Germany has changed the governance, economic, and social structure of the country, which also has an impact on other countries. Event number 2, Netscape. When PC Windows switched to the internet technology used for the public, from here also emerged the concept of WWW, World Wide Web, as roots of communication medium that made the internet accessible to all people across the world. Event number 3, Workflow Software. The ability of machine to talk to other machine with no human involved. SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, HTML, enable anyone to design and publish document that could be transmitted and read on any computer anywhere. Friedman believed these first 3 forces have become a crude foundation of a whole new global platform for collaboration. Event number 4, Open Source. It involves community that upload and collaborate on online project. Example, software, blogs, and Wikipedia. This software is free to download and reproduce by anyone. Event number 5, outsourcing. It enables companies to split service and manufacturing activities into components that can be subcontract and performed in the most efficient and most cost-effective way. Number 6, offshoring. It is manufacturing version of outsourcing. This is internal relocation of a company manufacture and other process to a foreign land to take advantage of less costly operation there, such as China entrance into World Trade Organization.
Let's continue with next event. Event 7 is supply chain. Supply chain is a method of working together horizontally among dealers, retailers, and customer to create new value. The 8th event is informing. In this flat area, Google, Yahoo, MSN Web Search are the retainers of search engine in today's internet world. Event 9 is in sourcing. FedEx and UPS are some of the companies that are making the world flatter. The last event is the steroid. Steroids here are a combination of digital, mobile, personal, virtual, which when combined become a formidable power. Chapter 3. We talk about the triple convergence. Three factors come together at the same time in a way that reinforce the flattening effect of each one. Convergence 1. This platform enable individuals, groups, company, anywhere in the world to collaborate. Convergence 2. New opportunity to conduct business and to deliver value by collaborating and delivering value horizontally. Convergence 3. Equal opportunities for people to compete globally. New player contributed significantly to globalization, demographic and location not limited. Next chapter is chapter 4, the great sorting out. The flattener process started from the Industrial Revolution. This process was foreseen by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, published the Communist Manifesto, a worldwide revolution of labor, while Michael Sandel's Harvard Political reflect on some of the human institutions that are being flattened by the flattening of the world.
In part 2, we talk about America and the free world. In chapter 5, Friedman discussed about America and the free trade. As the globalization happened worldwide, it makes international trade activities easier, which then lead to free trade. Since globalization or free trade becomes unavoidable, America should prepare themselves to fight or compete with the global world. How is it? Self-enrichment is the keyword. It can be by get better education, training, specialization, or build skill to adapt with the new situation. Chapter 6 explains that another effect of globalization is job competition get tightened. You no longer compete with the fellow Americans only, but also people from around the world. So, be the untouchable, someone that cannot be replaced by the computer. The key is get specialization, or be localized, or do the middle class job. Next, chapter 7 explains that globalization caused the fear of the competition with the global world because America has poor education. And that leads to the right stuff, action, which means doing the right things knowing that education is the key to compete in the global world. But since America's education system is outdated, it is important to do self-learning and build right brain skills. In chapter 8, Friedman explained that America used to be superior or the best in the world, so they don't feel the need to learn more. What they don't realize is countries are busy catching up and learning what they lack of. And this is what we call the quiet of crisis, where other countries slowly but surely getting better in all aspects, prepare to compete with America. The result is America is slowly falling behind in innovation, science, and technology.
I'm going to talk about Chapter 9. This is not a test. Here, Friedman makes the case that globalization is here to stay. This is not a short-term phenomenon. Countries and companies alike should be aware that what has worked for them in the past will not ensure success for them in the future. Friedman also makes the case for compassionate flatism. We cannot fight globalization. The only thing consumers can do is use their buying power wisely, as well as for countries to develop appropriate policies to incentivize certain behaviors. We also need to be ready to learn, relearn, and unlearn new concepts to maintain competitiveness in the ever-changing globalization landscape.
Now I'm going to talk about Chapter 10 on the Virgin of Guadalupe.
Our Lady of Guadalupe is the Catholic title of Mary, Mother of Jesus, who is viewed as the patron saint of the Americas. Mexican Catholics place statuettes of the Virgin of Guadalupe in their homes as a token of worship and to hope for blessings. By the late 90s, however, the statuettes sold in Mexico came from China, which is not a Catholic-dominant country. Here in Indonesia as well, we can find mass-produced prayer rugs, Muslim prayer rugs, that are made in China. So countries need to be cognizant that they need to find their unique advantages to compete in the global market, bearing in mind that for the foreseeable future, China will remain as the global manufacturing center, India will remain as the global services hub, and the Philippines will remain as the customer service hub for the English-speaking world. So as we can see here in the slide, aside from the Virgin of Guadalupe and prayer rugs, which are made in China mostly, Vietnam is now a destination to outsource garment manufacturing, aside from China and Bangladesh as well. And Indonesia is still an automotive manufacturing hub for Southeast Asia.
Continue part 4, Companies and the Flatwood. Chapter 11 is about how companies cope. Companies willing to change and accept change are more likely to do things that have things done to them. Each company is driven to be more creative and innovative and risk falling between the cracks. Company must be willing to collaborate and focus on niche market. Socially responsible outsourcing. Friedman pointed out the 7 rules that how companies cope in the flatwood. Rule number 1, when the wood goes flat and you are feeling flattened, reach for a shovel and dig inside yourself. Don't try to build walls. Rule number 2, and the small select big. Small companies flourish in the flatwood by learning to act really big. Rule number 3, and the big select small. Big companies learn to flourish in the flatwood is by learning how to act really small by enabling their customer to act really big. Rule number 4, the best companies are the best collaborators. More and more business will be done through collaboration within and between companies. Rule number 5, the best companies stay healthy by getting regular test X-ray and then selling the result to their client. Rule number 6, the best company outsource to win, not to shrink. They outsource to innovate faster and more cheaply in order to grow larger. And the last, rule number 7, outsourcing is not just for Benedict Arnold, it's only for idealists. Chapter 12, on flatwood. Most people assume that globalization is Americanization. Why? Because American manufacturer, service provider, brand, and etc. are in the best position to benefit from a flattening world. Chapter 13, Globalization and the Local. Many people around the world now have the tools to create and upload their own material is a tremendous power. For example, most popular food is not Big Mac, but it's pizza. In Japan, they have the sushi pizza, and in Thailand, they have the Thai pizza, and in Lebanon, they have the pizza meze. It's a local culture.
Part 6, Geopolitical and the Flat World. In this part, we talk about the Dell theory of conflict prevention. Thomas Friedman says that the Dell theory of conflict prevention argues that not two countries that are both part of the same global supply chain will ever fight as war as long as they are each part of that supply chain. The world will become uneven due to the war, economic disturbance, or political disturbance. There are hundreds of millions of people in this world who are left behind or are afraid in this process of flattening. Chapter 15. In this chapter, we talk about conclusion, that is imagination. This chapter shows us that there are two important dates that have shaped the world, 11/9 and 9/11. 11/9 meaning 11 September 1989 when Berlin Wall fall. This event seems to open up barrier of the world, which is like opening up creative imagination, the needs of collaboration, development, and trust in each other. 9/11 meaning 9 November 2001 when 9/11 attack happened in the World Trade Center. This event seems to close the windows that had been opened, forming a very strong invisible wall between countries and certain of groups. And this event is described as destructive imagination that trigger hostility, destruction, and hate. The author described that people with 11/9 mindset like people with more dreams than memories, and people with 9/11 mindset as vice versa. The author gives some examples, such as eBay, India, and the cost of oil phenomenon. The important things from this example is when we can create environment in which people can fulfill their own potential. So all people can spend time focusing on what to do next, not on whom to be blamed next. In other words, world need generation of 11/9 who has creative imagination, the generation of strategic optimistic, the generation with more dreams than memories, the generation that wake up each morning and not only imagines that things can be better, but also can act on that imagination every day. So we can conclude that world is being flat and we all can flourish in these flat worlds. But it does take the right imagination and the right motivation. Okay, that is our review for the book The World is Flat by Thomas Friedman. So the key lessons from this book are: you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future.
Be prepared because what's moving faster than most can keep up.
We must learn how to learn, teaching ourselves to stay curious and innovative if we are to excel in a global economy.
Globalization has reached a new stage. Now, individuals are drawing more and more people around the world into competition and cooperation on an equal footing.
It is important to adapt and specialize where there is a need. We learn that fear stimulates change and that is a good thing.
The right stuff, the educational requirements needed to survive in the flat world, and more importantly, the importance of self-learning and learning how to learn.
Thank you for watching our video. Bye!